Hello, I'm Sue. Welcome to Fireside Chat. So glad you're here with us today. I am so thrilled and honored to have my two friends, Taylor Miller-Goulait and also Erika Rivera, here today to talk with us. Thank you both for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.
So happy to meet with you both. And so we're going to talk about your new, actually, coaching company, and also I think the YouTube series is the Lead Her Lounge. So we have a lot to talk about.
Yes.
So tell me how you met each other and how you got the idea to kind of like
Sure.
collaborate.
Yeah.
Yes.
We just look at each other like, who's going to say first? We met at work. We worked together. So we worked for the leadership development team at a Fortune 500 company, and actually, at that company, Erika was a leader before she joined the leadership development team. So I had the pleasure of training and coaching her, and fell in love with her when I was meeting her.
Nice.
I think we connected immediately.
We wanted to be best friends.
Yeah, she's like, I want to be your friend. I was like, okay, cool.
No problem, right?
Yeah. And then she showed a big interest in the team, the leadership development team, and we were able to get her on board, and we worked. Yeah, so we met at work. I mean, we know each other's work ethic, so it was kind of a no-brainer when
That's awesome.
the idea for this business started to blossom. We were like, we need to just do this
I'm so
together.
glad.
Yeah,
I know, because it's so easy to say we're not ready or something else has to happen. I really admire you for saying, you know what, our time is now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Because then everything else kind of dovetails after that, but you have to take that first step.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Scary, but we did it.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
it
easier
is.
when you have someone with you.
Very
It is
much
much
so.
easier.
It's like here's your business. There has to be here's your buddy. You can't. You know what I mean? It's so much here's your baby. Here's your nanny. Saying that right.
Yes,
yes,
we all
yes.
need.
We
Yes,
need the
yes.
we need
But
the help.
tell me about. So how long have you been doing the YouTube series? Is it something that you just started doing recently?
Yes, actually, we started this year
Awesome.
in January 2025. We love what we're doing because we do leadership development, and we were always looking for resources to provide to our leaders as well. And we were noticing that most of those resources were made by male, right? So the leadership style is
Older
very
men.
male, yes.
Yeah.
So we were like, okay, we want to see ourselves represented
that.
there. So we decided to do it ourselves and start this journey. We have been learning so much by doing it.
Wow.
We take current topics like returning to office. That topic
That's
is right now, for example,
major.
happening right now. Yes, a major
Yes.
one. So how can we provide actionable items so
Right.
leaders and team members can okay, this is happening. How can I kind of communicate this to my team? So we help with best practices. We try to.
And there's so much to talk about, isn't there?
Oh my God, endless. You
You're
should see
never gonna
the
run out of
brainstorm
topics.
list that we have. It's
It's
50 page.
long.
It's so long.
Every
Several
day-
pages.
yes.
Which is wonderful because if you're just kind of tired one day and you're like, okay, we have to talk about the next show and you're just tired, you're like, pick one. You
Yeah.
don't have to think of it because you've already thought about all these things.
Yes.
But I think, once you do a couple of shows with different topics, it sort of leads to other topics.
For sure.
So it could be the list and then it has arrows to
Yeah.
other, right?
Yes.
Because, and sometimes your guest will bring up something and you're like, oh my gosh, I would love to look into that. Like overthinking. It's something that we all kind of think, oh God, I think I do this all the time. And so it's almost like that it's something we all think about, but we don't always think of it to talk about it. And it's kind of who do you go to talk about it as a leader?
Yes.
Exactly. And also when our clients, I think they help us with our topics. Because
Definitely.
when they come to
Definitely.
any station and they're like, I'm struggling with this, I'm like, okay, this is happening. Leaders are struggling with this, so how can we help them?
Yes.
If they don't have the opportunity maybe to partner with us,
Yeah.
how can we help those that
Nice.
don't have the luxury of a leadership development team in-house and they don't have the guidance? Because it's a luxury to have leadership
That's for
development. It
sure.
shouldn't be. It shouldn't
It
be.
shouldn't be, but it is.
It
So
is,
that's why
though.
we are there, and we want to be their partners.
It's
Yeah.
nice
for those
too because
companies.
people could watch a YouTube, they could watch a show, just as an introduction to you guys if they aren't really sure how it works, and then they can take it to their management and say, you know what, I think we have a need for this,
Yeah.
right? So it's really great to have those kinds of assets out because video is so much more powerful than
Oh,
print or
yeah.
whatever, right? Video is everything,
Yes.
especially when you're trying to convey what you're teaching, especially if it's different to what other people are teaching. So, you know, it's really like we need this. You know, there's so many of us that we're just like, I think a lot of people, like, even though we shouldn't, we do feel lost. We feel overwhelmed. We're like worried about AI. We're worried about like so much right now, right? And it's you probably like have really good discussions with people, like after maybe a day or two of them getting to know you. Maybe after your session for the day is done, it's really great to have conversations and people say, I'm terrified about this, right? And that's what you want to know. Like, you want to know, to be excellent coaches, you have to know about those fears. And it's like, if you're dreading something, let's name it so that we can talk about it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, it's great. And I think you both have a great sense of humor, too.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we try to, like, the idea of the YouTube channel, too, is for our future clients to see how
Very
we work
good.
and see if they have
So
synergy
good.
with us as well,
Yeah.
and if they connect with our message. Because when you hire a therapist, a coach, anybody that you hire, you want to connect with them. You
Very
want
true.
to hang out. You want to, like,
Yeah.
it's an hour that you spend with them, so you might as well, like, have a good
Rapport.
yes.
Yeah.
So
And enjoy
that's
it.
an opportunity for them to see how we work as well. And
Do you think that there's still a way of balancing being there for your family and investing in your own career? Do you think that women today still have to kind of juggle in a way? What do you think?
So we kind of started Monarch because we want families and we want to grow our families.
Yes.
So we actually started this, which is, I always say it's kind of ironic that we're entrepreneurs who are like, we want work-life balance.
Totally.
It
Absolutely.
doesn't exist, but I do think, you know, we're setting the foundation for it right now.
Yeah.
But yes, it is a struggle for that kind of balance. I think a lot of women don't get a lot of time for themselves, obviously. Like, that's a known
Absolutely. Yes.
issue. But we actually have a series that's geared towards professional women, whether they're moms currently or but they're working and they're in the workplace.
Yes.
And we want to help them either whether they're in some kind of transition or they're just feeling stuck with where they're at. We have this cohort or pods that
That's
we
awesome.
have that we kind of go through. It's a 5-week program, and they go through everything from what's your brand? What do you want to be known for? Who do you want to be?
Wow,
Where,
that's so great.
Yeah, where does your confidence lie within you? Because confidence is not being the loudest person in the room.
No, that's true.
And so it just helps
That's true.
build up their confidence, find their confidence, really, because they already have it.
they have it, yeah.
Yeah, and then just kind of identify which areas of their lives they really do want to zone in on, because you can't do everything.
5 weeks.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's a 5-week program. We've had some really great results. We've got a wonderful group of women right now that we're doing it with on Wednesdays. So
That's
yeah,
amazing.
it's very cool.
Do the Chamber of Commerce's like know about you? Like maybe Rochester Chamber of Commerce or something like that. Like there may not be another kind of resource that's you know, it might be nice to reach out maybe because like
Yeah.
if they maybe you could even feature something or you could send them this video.
Yes.
Shameless plug.
But it's cool though. Aren't we lucky to have this?
Yes.
It's
Oh,
and
100%.
this doesn't cost anything. It's extraordinary.
Yeah, it's
and
really
but it's a really good
special.
platform, right? So,
Yeah.
what kind of topics did you guys like start? Kind of start off wanting to kind of cover, and is it already evolving, or have you been able to kind of like have a core message and then add things to it, or like? So when you were first thinking about it, like, was there kind of like certain things that you really wanted to help people with?
Yes, absolutely. I think the foundation of our company is based on emotional intelligence.
That's excellent.
And this is something that we
Wow.
have been discussing because it's now something that you really learn when you're little, right? Right now, maybe some teachers have been trying to introduce emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
How you're feeling today. Tell me
Yeah.
your emotions, level your emotions, right? How we can self-regulate and self-management. But I don't remember having that when I was
No.
younger.
No.
Not at all.
Nor was it actually celebrated or acknowledged. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
this is the world. Like, you know, you have to, you know.
Yes. You're sad or you're happy. That's it.
Yeah.
You don't have more feelings
Or
than
you're
that.
angry.
So
Yeah.
now we
Yeah.
are more aware of different feelings. So EQ, different than IQ, is something that you can work on. You
That's
can
true.
actually have
That's
like
true.
Improve
develop
yeah.
your emotional intelligence.
That's true.
And that's what we try to do with our leaders. So that's why that's our foundation, because you need to be self-aware, so you know how to self-manage.
Yes.
And you can be socially aware. So maybe you're having a rough day, but that rough day is not negatively impacting the people around
And
you,
they don't
because
even
that's
know,
not fair.
like, if you're going through something really, like, even
Right.
really
They
scary at
don't.
home, they don't know.
They don't know,
because-
and leaders have so much impact.
Yes.
One thing, if is you're an individual, you do have an impact, and we are all leaders in different aspects in our life. But when you have people reporting to you, you have so much. You are today. I woke up angry, and I'm gonna just make everybody angry. You will
Right.
make everybody miserable, because
Yeah.
you have that power.
Yeah.
You have that power on everybody else. How many of
Unfortunately.
us is like, I have a rough day? Why? Because my boss.
Yeah.
Because my
Yeah.
leader.
That's right.
How many people leave jobs because they don't leave? With the thing, you don't
Yes.
leave your job, you leave your boss.
That's exactly right. I just read that not too long ago, and it's
Yeah.
so true because, like, and especially in retail, to tell you the
Oh,
truth.
yeah, that's my
there's
background,
A lot
yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, bosses that come in and they don't really connect with the people who are hard at work at the store. Sometimes they're not even acknowledged. They just come in
100%.
and then they kind of maybe go in the back room and then they kind of leave, and you're like, oh, that was our new district manager,
Yeah.
and like we didn't nothing.
So out of touch, and I hate
Got
to be
nothing.
like
Yeah.
so blunt about it.
Yeah.
But I mean,
But
we
it's
know that's
true.
how we know each other
It's
because I
true.
worked in retail for so long.
Yeah.
But one of the other focuses that we have, which relates really closely to
Mm-hmm.
emotional intelligence, is our core values, which is our three-legged stool, and it is
Very good.
that all leaders and all people, in all honesty, but for us, leaders should be empathetic,
Yep.
authentic,
Yes.
and have a lot of accountability for themselves and for their people.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So holding people accountable, because you still have to be realistic. We're running a business, or we have a team and we have something that we need to do, but you
Yeah.
can still give someone feedback, tell someone how to, maybe improve in something.
Yes.
And you can do that empathetically. And while
Absolutely.
being your authentic self. You don't have to be like, okay, I'm going to hold your hand through this now. But you can say, listen, like, I know what you're capable of.
Right.
Maybe even being curious and asking them, like, what's the roadblock here? Can you just
Yeah.
open up and tell me what you're experiencing?
And then you'll get like what's underlying it,
Mhm.
and then it could be something that's like you're like, oh, that's easy. We can just
Yeah.
do this. Don't worry about
Exactly.
it. Like,
You
I
never
would
know.
fix your chair. Like, it could be something really simple.
Just by being curious,
Yeah,
just by
exactly.
asking. So that's why, like, it goes, the three-legged stool and like emotional intelligence, they go like so well together.
Yeah.
Like when we start, like our trainings are based on that emotional intelligence and our values as a company, and the values that we want our leaders to have
That's
are
amazing.
very aligned. Because yes, you need to be authentic, because we don't want our clients to come and we want to change their personality. No, because that is not going to be, they're not going to be their true selves.
Right.
They're going to have this
Right.
facet, and we don't
Yeah.
want that, because
No.
one day you're not going to wake up feeling like having this character.
keep it up.
Yes. So you need to be real while
Yeah.
holding your people accountable and being empathetic and having
Right.
emotional intelligence. So it's
Yes.
a lot.
It
It's
is a lot. It's a big thing to balance. I think a lot of people too, one of the examples I like to share is that a lot of people are like, I'm very direct. That's just who I am.
Yeah.
And I always like to come back like, you can be direct and honest, but you can also be kind.
Exactly.
You don't have to be direct
Exactly.
and just tear someone apart.
Right.
That's not productive.
And maybe they never thought that was possible.
Right.
Because some people feel like, oh, if I'm the boss now and I have friends that I'm now supervising, I have to step into this different kind of personality. And your friends know that that's not authentic,
Yes.
right? And even the people that have
100%.
known you for a short period of time, they're like, oh, that she's really changed ever since she became the boss, right? Like that
Yes.
just seems like it's a common scenario. But you don't want to lose your people. That's great you got this promotion, but you want them to still believe in you and to still be comfortable, right? And so isn't so much of being a leader, it trust is so
Trust is
so
everything.
incredibly, you have to earn their trust, right? And then I guess you have to maintain that trust through time too.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It is funny that you mentioned that, because we actually have an episode about that, about a leader that
Like you're leading
how
your
to
former
come being up
peers.
from peer to leader.
Wow.
Right? And it is hard. It's one of the hardest things, but it can be actually the easiest thing to do because you already know your people. The hardest thing is to lead a team that of people that you don't know at
That
all.
is true.
Because you need to start from zero. You need to
Yeah.
tailor the feedback, their coaching, the recognition to each individual if you're a good leader. If you are not a good leader, you lead everybody like you want to be led, and that's not the way to go, right? But
Yeah.
if you know your friends, you know how to approach those
Right.
conversations.
And you can be
those-
kind about things that they might be terrified of because
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
actually they've given you their trust in their lives. So if you know that something's that's really difficult personally, then you can kind of like in a sense preempt that worrisome conversation and say, listen, I know it's really hard right now. Like, do you
Yeah.
need something? Do you need
Support.
2 days off or something or whatever it is? And then that person would be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you said that because I didn't know how I was going to bring that up with you.
Yeah.
But you want to be like a safe person, right? For your people.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like, you know what I mean? Like some people, like motivate through fear. Like in the past, in our
Oh, yeah.
parents' generation, there was a lot of fear that they were instilling into people, and that's so not completely at all.
No, we focus a lot too on the brain, which is cool.
I love
So,
that. Oh my god.
Like when you are instilling fear in your people, you're just raising their cortisol, and you
Yes.
just don't work as effectively
No.
when your cortisol is increased. That's like a defense thing. You go into fight or flight mode, and that's why people get so stressed about work is because there are those situations where their cortisol is through the roof.
Yeah.
So we talk a lot about how you can have like really highly productive teams and high performing teams by focusing on increasing their dopamine, their oxytocin, their serotonin,
Oh
their
my
endorphins.
gosh, that's amazing.
Through little 5-minute exercises. But if you
Wow.
do them periodically at different times and you're strategic about it, you can help that. And I think every career, every job, you're going to have cortisol there. Obviously, we're not trying to get
Sure.
rid of it because there is purpose to it and it's supposed to be there.
But
Yeah.
you don't want the leader adding to that
Right.
cortisol.
Yeah, but you don't want to be the reason why someone is like going home and being like, I can't, like they're mean to their wife or their husband because you were awful,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is our life. We spend so much time at work, like, and that is
We really do.
with what we do. We actually have an online leadership program, and
That's amazing.
we go into like we partner with organizations and they come to us because they're like our engagement is awful or our company culture is bad or there's just no trust and the leaders are all speaking different languages because they
My
all came in at
goodness.
different levels, and so it's like we come in and we just say like, listen, okay, we'll do an assessment, let's get a gauge on what your employee engagement looks like, the retention, all of that, and then we put them through it's a very flexible program, so you could even do 2 months if you wanted to, but
Okay.
we advise the 6 months because it's more impactful and you get better results. But they go through it and
Wow.
we track them through the whole thing. They get online like interactive videos, and then they get coaching, one-on-one coaching as well,
Oh
and
my
group
goodness.
coaching. So like you get
That
to
can change everything. Like
and
honestly,
it's sustainable, it's scalable, like,
Oh my
and a lot of
goodness.
organizations they try to do like a one-time workshop or watch this video. Here's this motivational. Here's Tony Robbins, and
Right.
not everybody responds well to
No.
Tony
Yeah.
Robbins, and so
No.
it's like they're trying, but there's a solution,
Yeah. Wow. And I feel that you guys really like get to know your clients so that you can bring to that company, that situation, what you in your professional opinion knows will work.
Yes.
So even you are not delivering a product that's cookie cutter or whatever it is.
No.
It's very personalized. It's very customizable, and you're nimble enough that you can change. Okay, this situation. We don't have a big place to meet, so let's do this. Like every situation could be different, right?
Yeah.
And so you always want to make the best of what you have. But I think too, I think that you would profoundly shift the attitudes of the people coming in, because like in maybe day one they'd be like, oh my gosh, they cared enough to get us expert, like wow, like that's
Exactly.
amazing. And then they everyone benefits, and then they can start sharing like this really changed for me, like I wasn't
Yeah.
like this before and now I can, right?
Yeah.
So it's really good for the organization to actually have you come in, because it's huge, like, right, really good for their, what's the word, like their,
Morale
Culture.
and culture.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes, and we learn about the leaders and their needs, but we take the time to learn about the company and their values
Yes.
and their vision as well.
Yes.
So we help through those conversations. Okay, like we want to reach your goals as an individual and as a leader, but how we can align those goals with the company goals
That's
and the
amazing.
company
Yeah.
vision and the values as well.
Wow.
So we try to connect everything. So
very holistic.
because what we have been noticing is that companies, they have the need to hire people constantly and they
Yes.
hire experts. That is a team member. They work very good. They have work ethic. They get everything done. It doesn't mean that they're leaders.
Oh my
It doesn't mean that they're
So
ready
true.
to
Promoted.
influence other people. It doesn't mean they know how to guide their people and motivate them because they are used to work
Yeah.
by themselves and do
Right.
their things, and they're great. They're great people, but they don't know how to do it with others. But you can develop those leaders.
Can you?
Absolutely.
Really?
But you need
Yeah.
you need us.
Yeah,
But
we
you need
see-
people like
I'm like, you
company
need us.
like us. You need company
It's
like
true.
us to do it because it's hard to develop the skill. Yes, you might be able to do it in 10 years, 15 years because people is going to tell you I have 10 years of leadership. Probably they learn on their own.
Right.
But why to wait? Why to hurt so many team members on the
Exactly.
way
You could
when they
lose
can
people that you
learn?
didn't have to lose.
Absolutely. When they can learn from now emotional intelligence, the different brain chemicals, how to boost happy brain chemicals, how to actually coach your people and hold them accountable from today. Yes. So you're gonna make mistakes.
Right.
We want you to fail.
Right.
Of course, we all need to fail in our jobs, but without hurting others. That's like the
Yes.
biggest thing. One thing is making a mistake in a project. Another thing is telling you, no, you're not good at this, and that person goes miserable to home, makes miserable their family, and that's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you know, like the idea of microaggressions, I feel like that's a really important one because it's so subtle.
And it's unconscious. I think a lot of times people don't realize
They
that
don't
they're
think because
doing
they're like,
it.
oh, well, I said it nicely. No, because
Yeah.
we heard it and there was a tone and there was like this
Yes.
kind of demeanor and it was so
Yeah.
not received the way that you think, right? And as you said earlier, like this is the way it's going to be and this is the way I always am. I'm always direct. But like, oh my gosh, like, can you hear yourself? Like, do you hear yourself? Like, this is not effective. And
Yeah.
like, why is there 40% turnover? You're like, oh my
wonder
God, like
why.
what a colossal expense and also like just emotionally and all that, right? It's really, it's a very difficult thing to have to, because then you don't really feel like you can stay for the rest of your life.
Right. You feel uncomfortable, you feel unsafe, and it's just not microaggressions. I like to kind of think like, what's the end goal of you saying that?
Right.
What's the point of you saying this? What do you
That's-
expect to happen? And I've used that before when I've heard it or when I've received it. Like of
'Cause it
what did
stops
you?
it.
How did you want me to react to that? What are you
Right.
trying to get out of
What are
this
you trying to
conversation?
get out of, yeah, because if
But-
the person's trying to embarrass you or trying to like, kind of like exclude others or whatever it is, it really kind of like, you're literally shining a light on what they are, like what they, what that inner kind of like what they're hoping to do. But if you pause a few seconds, if you kind of like count to 10, if someone says something insulting or demeaning, you literally just,
Yep.
they hear themselves in that moment in the air because it's still there,
Let it
and
ring.
instead of it landing and them having an effect, they're not getting that effect.
Yes.
Then they hear back in their own head, oh my God, that was really bad.
That's a very
and
good
then
technique.
I love
then
it.
you've got them because
Yeah.
then they have to say there's
I
but
love
it's
that.
it's just silence. Like
Yeah.
you literally, because they are hoping, you're exactly right, they're hoping to get some kind of reaction from you, and they don't expect you to like turn it back, like shine a mirror on them,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
But
That's a very good technique.
Yeah, I like that.
Yes, to do that.
We offer through that program, the online program, we actually offer a whole section on diversity, equity, and inclusion.
That's really
and
important.
How, I don't care what's happening. That's always very important.
it's very important.
That is literally,
Oh
it's
my
just being
God.
human.
Yes.
And being a good human and learning how to work with other humans. That's the basis of it. So, but yeah, we talk briefly about microaggressions in there as well and how to just be very mindful of and if you're not sure, educate yourself. Like, just try to, the internet has so many things. Like,
Yeah,
you can,
right.
if you're not sure about something, you can ask someone if you've got a good relationship with them, but it's okay to Google stuff too and just
It
say,
is.
you know,
And then,
oh, maybe I
and then
shouldn't
you
say
see
that.
like
or,
all these related videos, and they're all about like brain chemistry, and it's like, oh, that's so fascinating. And then it's like 10 o'clock, and you're like, darn, I
down
have
the
to
rabbit
go to
hole.
bed soon.
Yes.
And then you have to like stop this fascinating, right? This
Yes.
compelling thing. But we're always learning, and I'm sure that over time. Techniques evolve and thinking evolves, and so it's really great that you
A friend.
Sorry. Yeah, that you can pivot, that you're nimble, that you can like create, you can even do like a series on something, like, you know what I mean? If you found like there was a really cool topic, you could say, okay, this is like a Monarch series on this, and you can just like, there's so much you can do, but it's really great that you just sort of like said, let's do it now, right? It's so, because then you can
saw the need. Yeah. So while we were still working at that organization, we would network. Because it was kind of like post-COVID, we're like, let's get out of the house, let's go meet people.
Totally.
So we'd go to networking events.
Yes.
And we would tell people what we do, and we would say we do leadership development, and they're like, wait, you teach your leaders how to do stuff? We're like, yeah, you don't do that at your company? So that's when we realized, Erika's like,
for it.
Yeah, people
There's
need
a
this.
need. Yeah,
And a lot of small to mid-sized businesses, which is really like our niche, they don't have it. It's not accessible to them.
No.
So that's why we wanted to come up with something that was like affordable and sustainable and scalable, because if you're a small business but you're growing, like an online program's super scalable.
That's
for you.
amazing.
You can keep
there's no
enrolling
limit.
people.
And you can have teams who run things, and then you have more time for your family. So
yes, that's the other thing.
It's good for everyone.
We talk about delegation and how to
exactly.
run the high performing teams, and there's so many benefits. I mean, it's just starting people off, especially when they get promoted, like Erika was saying, like
right at the beginning.
Yes, I mean, you don't want to waste time with that for them to develop the bad habits. You got to get them within the first, honest to God, within the first 3 weeks of them being promoted.
Yes,
because a lot of experts do get promoted, and then they're like, oh, I'm so used to developing or doing app development. Now I'm leading a team of people who do app development, and they're coming to me with, I need PTO, I need FMLA, and you're like, okay, what do I do with that? And we don't do HR. We have HR partners that we work with.
Good.
But it is still like, how do you have these conversations? How do you lead people?
Right.
Because it is so foreign to these, especially with technology.
That's
like,
a great example, because
tech and finance
they're like
and
technicians that are excellent at what they do. But it's like, a lot of people like plumbers and things like that. They're so good at what they do, but they aren't always a teacher.
Yeah.
So even like a technician, they could be excellent, but they may not be able to, impart that, or to, you know what I mean, to grow, or to, all of a sudden they have to do seminars, and they're like an introvert, and you know what I mean? Like there's so much that comes up, and you're like, oh my God, like I need help right now.
Yes.
And my friends who work with me, like we're all kind of lost, and we have a person that we report to that they just don't understand. So in a way, like if you come in, then no one's offended, right? And then people feel cared for because, oh my gosh, they cared enough to have professionals come in and help us out.
Yeah.
And then the leader's like, oh, thank God. Like I was thinking I had to take them on a ropes course in the wilderness. Costa
We
Rica,
have done that too.
whatever. And all I have to do is hire Monarch, and it's like
and it's virtual, so it's kind of nice that
that's
it's
wonderful.
Online too.
That's wonderful.
And it's just not for the leaders that you have currently, it's for those aspiring leaders.
Yeah, that's
You want to
true.
have people ready to, because you're going to scale. If you have a company, you're going to get bigger, you're going to be hiring people. So you need those people, those aspiring leaders ready to go.
Yes.
And that's what we do as well, not just for leaders, but those ones that
Aspiring.
have those skills that like, oh, this person can be the next leader.
Yeah, you got to be prepared, because that's when it falls into that pit that we were just talking about. You're an expert with no leadership skills, and so just be proactive about it.
Proactive.
And the company culture
I just thought of something too. I think that you can both address really, really well that, the leadership, like management styles from the past don't work today.
No.
So like, millennials and Gen Z, you have to sort of like, have a certain kind of knowledge base and perhaps a way of dealing and a way of understanding, because like things like depression and anxiety, they're real, right? And like our parents never had to,
Acknowledged
like
it.
they
Didn't
just
know
kind
about
of
it.
did their thing and went to
Yes.
work, but they might have kind of worked until they died. You know what I mean?
Yes,
And
exactly.
so it's really great that like you can also address that as well, because some companies might still be leading through intimidation or fear or whatever it is, and they like need like a comprehensive like rebuild, right?
Yes.
And it's like, what are your results? Like if your results are not good because there's so much turnover, there's no trust, there's no morale, that's going to absolutely affect your business no matter what you're in, right?
Yes, and that's another topic that we had in the
Isn't
leaders
it
here
true?
lunch.
Like you
yeah.
probably
Leaders
just
through
didn't have
different-
tea
going
and
through our
like,
Yes,
come
last
up with
episode.
it's just leaders through different generations.
Yes,
They will always
it
mention
really
this.
is. It's
Right
important.
now, in one company, you have 4 generations working at the same time.
Wow.
You
Oh my
lead in
goodness.
different generations. Every generation have different values,
Right.
different expectations for
Right.
your leader. So you as a leader know, you guys have to adapt to me. Know how to adapt to you. That
Right.
you're a Gen Z, you that you're a millennium, that you're a baby boomer. I'm responsible to adapt and help everybody, right?
Now,
So
what
with their
company is
needs.
going to have the wherewithal to know that?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know that.
It's a really incredible
You know what I mean?
phenomenon. Like there is literally 18-year-olds working with 72-year-olds. Like
God.
it's wild. So and their life experiences are just drastically different.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you do have to be incredibly empathetic to all of the generations and try to understand like, okay, so like George is in his 70s. But like, I don't know, Kyle is like 18. Trying to think of his name.
It's Gen
I
Z.
know, right?
That's a good Gen Z
Kyle
name.
Connor.
That's pretty good, Kyle.
Carter. Kyle.
That's pretty good.
But like, but I know that George likes to do his own thing and just head down,
Yes.
focus, and do his
He's
work
like a
without being
technician,
bothered.
right?
Yeah,
That's
But
fine.
like Kyle wants feedback and really wants a purpose and
Yeah,
wants to know why am I
purpose,
why am I entering numbers into a computer? What's the outcome of me doing this?
And
What
maybe he's
purpose?
neurodivergent, and perhaps he has, you know what
Yeah,
I mean?
you
I
And
need
so,
to move a little bit. I need
Yes.
to get up as often. I would need to sometimes.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah,
Different
there's-
needs.
I'm
Different
just thinking about
expectations.
so many situations where like companies can really use some help, and especially like people that know what to do, because it's really easy to say I don't know what to do,
Yes.
and then it ends there, that you just don't know for the rest of your life. And it's amazing that you can actually like, within minutes, like, go on a website and like, oh my gosh, like what do you do? And so yeah, we got to get the word out. But I'm so glad you had time to come and talk today.
Yes,
I hope it
Thank
was
you
yeah,
for
fun.
having
you.
us. Thank
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being so
What a
curious about
pleasure.
what we do.
Yeah.
Aw,
Yes,
thank
I
you.
appreciate
I just really see so much value, but I think that you're both such lovely souls to deal with. And,
Aw,
and that's
thank you.
really, it's wonderful because people really get a feeling of your, as you said, authenticity and, like your compassion too. Like you both have kindness. And so, like, I think that, as you said, like, it helps to be kind. You be direct, but you can be kind, right? But, yeah, I wish you all the very best in everything that you
Thank
do
you.
and all the expansions you're going to have,
Yes.
because there's so much need, right?
Yes.
So thank
Thank
you
you,
so much for
Sue.
joining us and for sitting with us. And, yeah, I'll talk to you next time. Thank you.
It went by so fast. I cannot believe it's already
God,
after
like,
7.
what is? I'm like, oh my God! It's like 0. I'm like, oh shoot! And it's okay because we actually got a lot in. I
Yeah,
feel
no,
like
that
we
was
really
really
like
good.
Yeah, it's pretty
that
much
went-
everything we would have wanted to talk about. So that's